Good morning, everyone. Welcome. This is Monday morning, and we are on day 3 of 31 days of Zen. So, this morning, as I get things started and ready for a practice that's going to be focused on the spine, I'm actually here in my family room and I've relocated here instead of my regular filming set just because I have access to a very large screen here. So I can see what you're seeing very well, and I can also see your comments. So before we get started with the practice, as I said, it's focusing on the spine this week of 31 days of Zen is focusing on yoga practices. I have three lives of practice this week. This one today, as well as Wednesday in a different time slot. I'll be coming to you at 4 o'clock on Wednesday afternoon, 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So depending where you are at, hopefully between the 11 a.m. time slot and the 4 o'clock, something will work so that you're able to join live. If not, you'll certainly be able to catch things on the replay. Now, the Friday is going to be at 11 a.m. So throughout the whole month, there will be Monday and Friday at 11 a.m. and then Fridays or Wednesdays will be at 4 o'clock. We kick things off on the 1st of May with a short to kind of give you a little bit of a teaser of what would occur throughout the month of May. And then followed yesterday by a really big kickoff with a hot, spicy topic all about the pelvic floor, which I was able to cover with Yo of Yo and Virginia. Now, she has a YouTube channel named Yo and Virginia. If you go to the replay of the broadcast that we had yesterday, you will see that she actually has her own channel. All her links to her social media platforms that she's on are there also. It was quite interesting. We had a really good turnout of several other YouTubers. We had Nona Grace was there. We had Debbie and Charles there asking some questions throughout, which was really nice to have that engagement. Also, Kathy D was there, Anton Reckner, Alicia was there, and we had Jason Bailey there also, who is a really sweet supporter of this channel. If you really like to listen to some easygoing kind of music, really smooth, velvety voice, you have to check out Jason's channel. It is called Jason Bailey as well, after his name. So I invite you to go and have a look and listen to his amazing voice and performances that he has on there. Also, Angela's wisdom and healthy tips popped by to check out the broadcast. So these are all, many of these have their own channel. Angela certainly does. She's also a physiotherapist, so you might want to go check her out. She's got some really good content on her channel. Now, to give you, before we get started with the yoga practice, to give you a little bit more insight as to what will be happening this month during the 31 days of Zen. We have a speaker, guest speaker every Sunday who will be joining me. This coming Sunday, which is also Mother's Day, by the way, will be Tina Ferrone, and she's the owner of Beyond Yoga Studios. You can find her online, or you can find her studio online under beyondyogaottawa.com. And it has a, hi Eric, nice to see you. I'm doing great. I hope you are as well. Be sure to give me some requests if you have any. We're focusing on hamstrings this morning when I get started for the practice. But first, I'm just going over the lineup for the month of May and what you can expect to see this month. So yeah, Tina is going to be talking about what it's like to have a bricks and mortar studio. She's operated her studio for about 7 years now, and she also has virtual presence that she got up and running very quickly when the pandemic first began last year. And that has been going really well because one of the reasons that I'm offering content every single day this month is that I happen to live in an area where we are locked down and there's nowhere to go. We're under stay-at-home orders. I actually just got my first dose of vaccine almost 2 weeks ago, be 2 weeks Wednesday, and I have the COVID arm to prove it. One of the symptoms, side effects that does happen to some people, I have the Moderna vaccine. It's nothing ominous. It's a little bit of an annoyance because of the redness, and it's a little bit warm, even though it's been that length of time. And it also it just means that my immune system is working, has recognized the vaccine, and it's working and building up the immunity. So it's all good. So if you see that, that's what's going on there. But anyway, moving on through the lineup for May. This chat that I'm going to have next Sunday with Tina should be quite interesting, just to kind of get an idea of what it's like and what draws somebody to want to make the investment into a bricks and mortar, because a lot of the people that are here on this platform are offering virtual services, and maybe some of you have both. So really, really interesting to get that point of view from her. So looking forward to having her on. The following Sunday, it will be Stephen Beerbreyer, who actually is a really active presence, particular on Instagram. Him and I had a month of Wellness Wednesdays back in March, where every Wednesday afternoon we had a chat all about different tips, wellness. We covered various topics, and you may want to check out his Instagram account to go and look at those lives that we did during March. And his page, in the account on Instagram, is OTT free, FREE fit.com, or just Ottawa, or OTT free fit, and you'll see the lives there that we did. Fragrant Lifestyle is here popping in. Thank you so much for being here this morning. I'm just going over the lineup for the month of May right now before I get started for a yoga practice. So if you are interested, we're going to focus on hamstrings today. People have a tendency to be really tight through the backs of the legs, as well as it impacting not only the hips, the glutes, and the lower back. So some ways to free that up. So if you have any requests, by all means, let me know in the comments. And so Stephen will be joining me that third Sunday in May, and we'll talk about what it means to really, he has a very strong movement throughout the local community as well as the virtual community on how to get moving. You can get moving at no cost, virtually or physically, whichever way you choose to practice and to connect. But he has so many different options on how you can get moving, and we'll be talking about that and maybe how you can incorporate that in your own community or even on your virtual community. So as we move along onto the fourth Sunday of May, Move with Jen will also be joining me, and she's another YouTuber who offers yoga as well as other forms of movement She is very, very active in the YouTube community. She is on not only YouTube, but also on Instagram, very active there, as well as TikTok. So you will want to definitely check that out as we chat about what it's like to be a yogi on YouTube and starting a channel and bringing yoga to people, and what motivates someone to do that and to continue to offer so much. It really is, all of these people give so much, and it's just kind of interesting to see what motivates them to do that and the rewards that they receive from giving, because they say that it's better to give than to receive, but as a side effect of giving, you end up receiving a lot of benefit as well. Moving on to that final Sunday in May will be a really good friend of mine, Miriam Kilby, who has been such a strong supporter of the channel. And we've got somebody else that don't do talk. Thank you so much. Good morning to you, and I appreciate you being here. I'm just going through the lineup of what's happening in the month of May, and then we'll get started with a practice focusing on hamstrings this morning. So if those are tight, you'll want to make sure that you have maybe some yoga blocks or some thick books that you could use for extra support. Cushions can be helpful. I have a yoga strap handy, which you can use, or you could have some, just use a belt, a skipping rope, anything that would mimic the same thing that a strap does. It just helps to extend your reach, especially if you have difficulty with that forward bending that we're going to be covering this morning. But that last Sunday, Miriam Kilby joining me as a supporter of the channel, supporter of my journey as a yoga teacher. So it'll be really interesting to get some insight from a student's point of view, because so often, yes, blocks are really, really handy. You are right, because they just help to extend your reach. And even once you become flexible or more flexible, they can still help you to get that much further. There's so many uses that you can put the yoga blocks to work for you. So if you do have requests for that, all the many ways that you can use a yoga block, yes, you can get really creative, and I'd love to do a video for you sometime, or maybe even a live for you on how, what do you do with yoga blocks. So anyway, as we continue on here, I've got my cup of tea. I'm having some yogi green tea. This is the variety with the kombucha. So it's quite tasty. I'll be sipping on that, as I have been all morning, and full of antioxidants, and I've got my hydration, which is so important as well. So we're just about ready to get started here, and I just wanted to let you know that Instagram is also another busy platform through the month of May. A lot of the promotion of what's happening here on YouTube is going to be happening, or there'll be kind of a preview of what's going on Instagram, as well as a couple challenges this week alone that I'm participating in. I've got an aloe challenge, and it is all about laughing poses. So it was kind of fun to do the photos in preparation for this challenge, because it's all about smiling. Sometimes yogis can look pretty intense and pretty serious. So it's important, and I really love the fact that they brought this challenge that you can actually laugh and smile while you're having yoga, what you do in your yoga. It should be fun. So it's a good reminder to have fun while you practice. The other challenge is through Move with Jen that I just mentioned a little while ago, and she is doing a challenge this week with using a yoga wheel. So again, that's just about trying to come up with some creative ways of using a wheel, which is very challenging to incorporate in various poses. So that was also a lot of fun to do the photo shoot and prepare for that. Now, if you are watching this on the recap or the replay, just be sure to offer some comments of what you would like to see this week. Wednesday, we're continuing on with yoga for the spine, but that live will be all about back bends. Today's forward bends, which lengthens the back of the body, and we'll do the reverse on Wednesday. And then on Friday, we wind it up literally with twists. So twisting the spine. So why is it important to have the mobility to your spine in these various directions? So as we get ready, I think I've covered all of the important highlights for the month of May. So I'm just going to make a little bit of room here. So if you happen to want some particular poses covered this morning, by all means, pop them in the comments, or if you are watching on the replay, you can just pop them in the comments as well, and I can incorporate them perhaps in the other live broadcasts. So there'll be 4 live broadcasts per week throughout the month of May. So here we go. We're going to begin coming up. You'll want to have your strap near, if whatever you're using as a substitute for a strap. But I'm going to begin by coming into a supine position. So what can happen quite often if you are tight through the backs of the legs, and you're not, you don't have very big range for your forward bending capability, you may prefer to come into the supine position with the legs bent. Now, as we hold that, you can bring your feet a little bit wider than hip width and just letting your knees kind of fall in together. So just finding the place where it feels comfortable. And this is going to help to maintain that neutral curvature in your spine. So you're not forcing your spine to flatten into the mat, nor are you allowing your pelvis to tilt anteriorly or posteriorly. So you want to be nice and even, nice and balanced here. So you also will pay attention to your cervical spine. So if that's a concern for you, if you find that your chin is kind of pointed way up in the air, or it's tucked really, good morning, Miriam, thank you. I'm glad that you're enjoying this. I hope that you'll join me and follow along as we do our practice this morning, so we can do it together. So as you align yourself and you've got the position that feels the best for you. Now, if you've got a little bit more flexibility, you may wish to stretch your legs out long. So just letting your toes turn out and just closing the eyes. We're just going to take a few moments to bring our awareness to our breath and what's going on internally. So let your awareness kind of wander through the body. So if you have issues with the cervical spine, you could use your blanket. Folded blanket's a good idea to have nearby. Just place it to the back of the head, giving you a little extra support. Now, as you relax and soften through the facial features, allow the breath to flow in through the nostrils, and then flowing out through the nostrils as well. You can feel perhaps that slightly cooler air as you breathe it in, and as you relax through your torso, you can feel your belly rising as you breathe in. As you breathe out, you can soften the jaw and relax on the exhale. Navel falls in toward your spine. And your breath continues to move in and out. adapting to this focus on your breath and relaxing your body. You may find that you have a lot of busyness going on in your mind, which is quite normal. Gradually being patient with yourself as you allow your breath to get deeper and more comfortable with your breath rhythm. Your thoughts might slow down a little bit. It might even feel like they're a little further away. And just enjoying how good it feels to breathe. My goodness. Sometimes we just get so preoccupied with life that we just forget to take a nice full breath. So taking this opportunity to take several of them. Feeling more grounded, more centered, you can start to bring some movement to your hands and to your feet. Kind of wiggling your toes around and circling the wrists, circling the ankles, and doing that in both directions. And as you slowly bring yourself into a full-length body stretch, you can lengthen out the legs, lengthen out the arms, and just breathe here. Oh, it feels so good. Take another big stretch. You might even interlace your fingers and press the palms away from you, breathing in fully. And breathing out to bring the knees into the body, hugging them in, giving yourself a nice squeeze, a little bit of rocking from side to side, allowing the back and just your body weight pushes down along the edges of the sacrum or a little bit more center. You can kind of explore a little bit to see where it feels best for you to press down and allow your body weight to press down. It's acupressure from your own body weight. And from here, as you recenter, you can bring your right foot or left foot down to the floor as you clasp the back of your left leg. Now, if you find that this is a little bit of a struggle, I invite you to go ahead and take a strap or anything that simulates a strap and just place it beneath the ball of the foot and kind of where the arch is to just help you to guide the foot towards you a bit more. And as you keep reaching through the heel and pulling to bring the foot in closer, I'm glad you're enjoying it. That's awesome. Thank you so much for your feedback. It's very encouraging. But what happens here is you get some really good length in the back of the leg, and you've got complete control without creating struggle in your upper back. Now, for those of you who may be a little bit more flexible, you might stretch out your left leg. Now, for some, I know this is pretty intense, so you may just want to keep that bend in the leg. You could use both hands here to gradually bring your foot a little bit closer, and you might even have to bend the leg. So if your hamstrings are super tight, having a bent leg you might feel the stretch here, and that's quite okay. It's really about yoga it's a totally non-competitive type of activity that you do. It's a mind-body practice, so you do it to really let yourself internalize what's going on in your body and becoming more in tune with what your body needs. So from here, I'm just going to hold on to the strap with my right hand and allow the leg to open out to the right. Now, I want to make sure this left hip doesn't start to roll over to the other side. So I'm simply going to anchor it in place and allow the foot to continue to open gradually and allow that leg to open. So not only am I stretching the hamstrings still by pulling the toes toward my head, but I'm also getting into the inner leg. So just go easy. We're just warming things up. You can bring that leg back up again, switching hands and gently guiding it to the other side. So just like we didn't want to let the left hip to roll, we don't want the right one to roll here. So that's going to limit how far over that leg goes. That's okay. It's all good. We want to target the outside of the hip on this one. And then bring it all the way back in, bringing the knee in. You can set your strap aside if you're using it for now. Squeeze that in. And then taking your right hand on the knee, you can circle it around. Now this, I'm in the title for today, it's called forward bending. Now, even though I'm laying on my back, this is still a forward bending exercise or pose, because it's all about bringing flexion to my spine. So when we work on back bends on Wednesday, so you can circle the other way. When we work on back bends on Wednesday, we're going to be working on extension of the spine. So flexibility comes by having that pliability of your spine in all directions. And with all the joints as well, we want to be working on our flexibility. So you should feel some good lubrication here. You can stretch out the leg and kind of see how that feels. And now if you need to keep the legs bent a little bit, maybe knees together, go ahead. I just want you to check in to see how your lower back is responding to this. Now, from here, let's take another big stretch. Oh, lengthen out, just as if you are waking up for the first time. And depending what time zone you're in, you might be. So breathe in here, stretch nice and long, and bring in your opposite leg. So give it a good squeeze once again to draw that in. Remember, if you might be a little bit more at ease now on the right side, but if not quite, just keep a bend in that leg and just pull that in towards you. And gradually from here, you can clasp the back of the leg and you can just keep holding on to it. Or if you do have access to some sort of helper, like a strap, you can just thread it underneath the ball of your foot and continue to guide that leg towards you. So if it's bent, don't worry. Just do your best to get straightened, but you do not want to lock your knee joint either. You want to be kind to your joint. You don't want to be jarring on them. You just want to take your time. And notice my shoulder, if you can see, I'm not creating, I've got a little bit of activation in the arm here, but I'm not tensing up my shoulder. It's not pulling up around my ear or anything like that. I'm just breathing in a relaxed manner. I'm finding where it feels good for me and for my body as I continue to hang out here. So I'm pressing, I've got some intention through my heel to get nice and long here. And I'm continuing to just breathe in tune with my breath as I was when we first started in that opening meditation. It's always so important to focus on your breath and really internalize what's going on. So allowing us to open. Good morning, Alicia. Welcome. We've got Miriam in the house as well. Fat Don't Talk is in the house. So we've got a few of us here. We've had Fragrant Lifestyle so far. Eric Smith has been here as well. I'm just letting gravity do the work here to open up that hip. So still working on that hamstring, still considered forward bending as I allow gravity to help me out. So I'm not having to struggle. And from here, bringing it all the way up, I'm going to switch hands. So again, I want to keep that hip anchored so that I'm moving the leg and helping it with my strap. Now, if you're really flexible, you can just hold on to the leg, or you might just kind of grab a hold of it wherever it's convenient for you to do so. The strap is just there to make it a little bit easier, but it certainly is not an absolute requirement. You can do yoga without any props at all. It's just a matter of listening to your body. Well, Thank you. I'm glad you like my pants and the practice as well. As you bring that knee in, just give it a good squeeze. You can keep your hand on the kneecap and circle it around. Pants are from Amazon. Actually, I haven't linked them. I should do that. Put them in the description box down below if you're interested. The quality is amazing, really. And they are from the gym people on Amazon. You can circle this in both directions, lubricating your hip joint. And yeah, they've got really, really good quality. Nice and thick, squat proof pants, which is really quite a lovely feature to have, especially if we ever get back into group classes in actual live in-person classes. So as you stretch that out, once again, check in with that lower back. See if you're starting to feel a little bit more ease, perhaps through the pelvis, through the hips, and into the lower back. I will do that. Thanks for bringing that up. I will get those linked in there. They are really good quality. So from here, let's bend both knees and just let them sway a little bit side to side. You can take the feet a little bit wider than your hips here, maybe even to the edges of the mat. And as I bring it all the way over to my left side, now you go ahead and roll over onto your favorite side. I'm just going to come into the fetal position, which is definitely a forward bend. So I'm getting a stretch here from my tailbone all the way to my cervical spine as I intend my nose toward my knees. So total fetal position, which is so similar to child's pose, but laying on your side. So you might find that it's a little easier for you to get into when you do it from this angle. From here, I press the floor away and making my way into a seated position. So I'm going to come into cross-legged. However, I know from experience in classes, this cross-legged position can be an absolute struggle for so many people. And especially if your hips and the backs of your legs, your hamstrings are tight. Maybe you sit a lot, or maybe you're very athletic and your workouts are such that they cause you to really, really get tight in the glutes and in the hamstrings. So that's going to affect your forward bending ability. So I'm taking a blanket here and it's folded, so it's not too thick. And I'm just going to give you a side profile first. So I'm going to place half of my bottom on that blanket. So you can see I've got kind of the front portion of my pelvis off the blanket. And what that does, it tilts my pelvis so that when I come into that cross-legged position, my back is nice and tall. I've got a little bit of my natural arch here, but I'm not creating a banana back by any means. I'm actually engaging the bandhas a little here. So my abdominals are supporting my back so I can remain nice and tall while I'm here. Because without it, quite often what I'll see is people end up being rounded and the knees are way up in the air. It is a total struggle and that is not fun. And as I said, your yoga practice should be fun. So as you evolve through your practice and you grow through your practice, you want to make it enjoyable. It should not be torture. So for some people, you may have to kind of come into half cross-legged and have one leg stretched out, depending on what's going on with your hips. So do give yourself permission to make the alterations that you need to make it so that it works for you and your body. So as we move on to the next pose, and you adjust, if you've got a blanket there, you want to adjust it so that it's comfortable for you. You want to have, we start off paying attention to what leg you have in front, which ankle, really doesn't matter. We're going to switch it up anyway. So from here, we're just going to take a beautiful full breath in, reaching up, looking up, and exhaling to bring the hands to the heart center. So take another big breath. Inhale. And exhale. Feels so good once again to just focus on that breath, the stretch, looking up, reaching up. Exhale, hands come to the heart, and let's take it into a forward fold. And here we're going to expand explore what it feels like to actually stretch the back body. Eris, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Welcome to you and happy Monday. We are, and there's Anton. The gang is coming on this morning. Thank you, guys. So happy to have you here. We're working on stretching those hamstrings, some inner thighs, some hip work here as well to really help that whole forward bend ability to give you more range. So it's comfortable when you bend over to tie your shoelaces, so it's not a struggle for you. And those little things are just so important. So as you walk yourself back in, sitting nice and tall once again, we're now going to switch and bring the opposite ankle in front. So yeah, yoga is really about the functionality that these stretches and the balance that you obtain in your body help to improve the functionality of your day-to-day life. So let's take a big, beautiful breath here, looking up as you inhale. Exhale, float the hands down in front of you. Now, depending how your range is, you may have to stay up a little bit higher or a lot higher, which is quite okay. That's all right. Again, it's about adjusting. But as you walk the hands away to the place that is comfortable, that is available to you, let yourself hinge here. Let those knees open out. And from here, let's add a little bit more. Walking the hands over to one side. Oh, reaching, reaching, reaching as you bow over top of your one leg. Doesn't matter which side. If you're mirroring me, might be the opposite side. That's okay. And from here, I walk it back through to the middle and over to the opposite side. So same thing, taking it as far over as you're able to reach comfortably. Your breath is going to be your best guide here as to what's comfortable. And if you're just coming on now, you can probably see as I come to this side, I can see my COVID arm from my first dose of vaccine, which is apparently a very harmless side effect, but happens to some of us. I tend to be somewhat sensitive, so of course, stands to reason that I would have a little bit of a reaction, but nothing harmful, just letting me know that my immune system is working. And as you come all the way back up here, you can reset and stay nice and tall here. So you'll feel from your forward bending already. I know I can feel that my hips can open a little bit easier, and I've got a little bit more comfort in the lower back. So we're going to go ahead and, oh, good for you, Miriam. Awesome. Happy to hear you're getting your vaccine this afternoon. Get ready for that COVID arm. Take a big breath in. And as you exhale, we're going to massage the spine. Actually, mine did not show up, or I didn't notice it till about a week after. And it is, from what I was reading up, it's said to show up as a kind of a later side effect. Other than that, the whole experience was quite good. I had I felt 100% the day following my vaccine, but the second day after, I definitely had a little bit of a headache. I couldn't quite tell if it was weather related or if it was from the vaccine. I just felt a little bit off, nothing ominous at all. So just really happy to have gotten that first dose. As I come all the way back up again, take a moment to reset, slide those shoulders down, open through the heart, take another full breath in, and then going in the opposite way. And yeah, it was really a good feeling, especially I was noticing on the news that apparently I received the Moderna vaccine, that apparently about 20 some days following the vaccine, the immunity goes up to something like 92%. So that is really comforting. And And definitely, I'll be looking forward to my second dose to get the maximum immunity that I'm going to get. So that's not going to be for a few months yet, but till then, the immunity is said to hold to the level that you obtain it. And depending, of course, on which vaccine you get. So really, really feeling like it is an important part of serving not only myself, my well being, but serving the community at large as well. So, as we come all the way back up again, take a big breath here, reach it up, and as you exhale, let the hands land to the heart. Take another inhale and just feel yourself opening up through the heart here as you bring your one hand down, reach up and over, leaning into the side, softening the arm. And if you are using that little bit of support underneath the sit bones, I hope that you're noticing the effect, how helpful it is for you to have a nice neutral pelvis. Come on all the way up and better support for your back as well. So reaching up and over, softening and just pressing the opposite. So whatever direction you're leaning into, make sure you're pressing your opposite sit bone into your mat, your blanket, so that you are well grounded and really stretch the side body. So bring that arm down. Take some shoulder rolls here, and from here, we're going to take it to a table position. We're coming onto all fours. Now, if you have sensitive knees, you could use that same blanket and you could put it right under your knees. Or what I have found can be helpful is if you put it under your kind of under your shins more, so your knees are not pressing into the mat. So that's a good option if that can be a struggle for you, or if you're practicing on a rather thinner mat and maybe on a hardwood floor, so that you've got some really, really hard surfaces underneath you. So let's take it into a nice wide support here through the hands as we take a breath in, and as you exhale, pushing the hips back and bringing the ears right alongside the biceps, and take it back to your table again. Breathe in here, lift your gaze up as you come into cow, turning your tailbone up, and then moving back. Kirsten, quick fit. Hey, I'm so happy that you're catching me as well. That's so awesome. Thank you. I appreciate you popping by. I hope you're doing well. And I know you had your second dose of vaccine coming up last week, so I hope that went well for you. As we take another breath in here to lift the gaze, lift the tailbone, let's press it back. We're working on those tight hammies this morning, Kirsten. So, and I know that you are so active, so muscular, that this is an area that you can resonate with. So as you take the hands a little further forward here, we're going to tuck the toes under and press it up into downward dog. Now, this one is awesome. It is definitely a forward bending pose, and you want to make sure that you intend your weight back. So quite often, when people are very tight, it's okay to bend your legs if you need to. So don't feel that you have to have them straight. It's more important to engage your core here so that you can get your hips back. Think about pressing your chest towards your legs. And from here, you can kind of play around with maybe trying to get one heel down to the floor, maybe the other heel, and just alternate, kind of walk it back and forth. So you had no bad effects, Kirsten. I'm glad to hear that. And you're doing this with me. Tight hammies, yeah, for sure. Well, you are very welcome. Happy to have you here. So as you walk this out, it just feels so awesome to just stretch and really intend the heel down. Now, if you are so fortunate to have enough length to get your heels down, see if you can lift your toes up off the floor, and that's going to really accentuate that lengthening. Now, as we bend both knees, again, belly to your thighs, we're going to keep
kind of pedaling this out. We're going to walk one foot in as we straighten that leg to the extent that we can, and then switch and straighten the opposite leg, and kind of take these little steps with the leg straightening, the other one bending, as you work your way up to your hands. From here, you can flatten out your back, inhaling, and exhaling to fold. So for those of you who are watching and tuned in here, I mentioned at the beginning of the practice that it is a busy month of May. There's 4 lives a week that I'll be providing, along with 3 videos through the week as well. So very, very busy month. I hope that you will be tuned in for it. So let's keep stretching out the hamstrings and keep those forward bends coming. But first, we add in a little back bend just to balance things so that I don't send you on your way lopsided. Take an inhale here and then dive down. So lead with your heart. Pull your belly button to your spine as you fold. And just let yourself hang out here. So this one is more passive as you take the hands to opposite elbows. Let your head draw toward the tops of your feet. Add a little bit of shifting or twisting ever so gently from side to side. So Wednesday, 4 o'clock will be the next live that I do this week. And that one will be all about back bending. So it's important to have that balance through the whole spine. Oh man, this feels great. Again, you can have legs bent as much as you need to, but you want to let gravity do the work for you here. So having your arms, even if you interlace your fingers and kind of place them at the nape of your neck, that can really help to decompress the spine in a way that just feels amazing. And from here, release it all, bend your knees, and pull the navel to your spine once again as you unroll. And bring those shoulders up to the ears and back down. Hey, Jason, welcome. Jason Bailey is in the house. It's too bad that you can't sing while I am doing this yoga, because you have a smooth, velvety voice. It would be really complimentary. So make sure that you check out the channels of these great YouTubers that are on. We've got Kirsten QuickFit in her channel, where she is giving workouts and just really getting you strong and healthy. So now we come into a warrior one. So the back heel is grounded, and we've got Jason Bailey. Check out his channel. He's got some great tunes on there that he sings, and really good performance. Now, as you open up the heart, so I really appreciate your support, guys. Bending the elbows, pressing the heart open here. Backs of the hands moving back behind you. And slowly bring those hands and bind them together. So interlace the fingers and see if you can slide the hands down the back leg just a teeny bit here. Not too much today on the back bend. And then slowly start to fold forward. And allow yourself to kind of bring your chest along the inside of that front leg. So that's a really good forward bend. As you release it, I'm just going to bring my hands down to the mat, pivoting on the ball of that back foot, and then bringing the back knee to the floor. So again, it's all about forward bending. I'm shifting my hips forward and press through the top of that back foot. Reach up. So I hope you're feeling Zen this morning, Jason, and everyone here that is joining in. We've got Vital Kumar. Thank you for being here this morning. Welcome to you for 31 days of Zen. So lots going on this month. You can press those hips back and lifting up those toes, press through the heel. So as I mentioned earlier, you want to make sure that you are not hyperextending the joint. You don't want to lock the knee. I'm glad you're feeling Zen, Alicia. Thank you, Vital. I'm happy that you like the content. This adding a teeny little twist. We've been doing a lot more twisting on Friday as we incorporate everything that we take in throughout this week. So as you bend and shift the hips forward, get a good stretch in the front of the hip. We want to have balance.
all around the whole body. From here, you can tuck those toes under again. Take it back to your downward dog. Oh, and if you're feeling strong now, you're coming to life, start to shift yourself forward to really fire up the body in a plank position. So as you keep your hands wide open, belly to your spine, take a breath in and slowly lower yourself down. So for some of us, it's morning. For Vital, it's evening. Wishing us a good night. So welcome. It's wonderful for this platform to offer all these time zones that we can be connected through this great community. As you push the tailbone back and come into your forward fold, you can allow the forehead to come down and just take a pause here. It's always great to pause and to bring yourself back to your breathing. Slowly making your way and tucking the toes under. Press those hips up and back once again. Lift the tailbone. You might find that now, as you come back to this pose again, you've got a little bit more range. So let's do the same walk here. We're going to bend one leg as we straighten the other, and taking a little step with the opposite foot starting first. We straighten that leg as we walk the other one. And it's just little baby steps. And there's kind of a little shimmy of the hips from side to side as you take your time to bring your feet to meet your hands. Come on up halfway. And as you exhale, fold it forward. Give yourself maybe a little bit of a hug here. So you wrap the arms around the backs of your legs, or maybe you're just holding on with your hands. Whatever your range of motion will allow, bend your knees and slowly unroll yourself. And you want to feel yourself tucking the tailbone and just stacking the whole spine one vertebra at a time. Inhaling to float those arms up. And this time, let's reach forward. Keep the arms right alongside your ears. Pull your belly to your spine. Send your tailbone back. Can you stop right here, halfway down? Hands reaching forward. Reach through those fingertips. Reach through your tailbone. Breathe in and breathe out to fold. Inhale halfway up. And this time we step back with the left foot. So bringing it to your warrior one. And again, we're going to square up the hips. So as I mentioned earlier, when I first got started on this live today, I'm in my family room today so that I can see you as you comment on my big screen. So just a different setting than what I usually film the videos in, but I kind of like changing it up. So far, I think I've brought you along in most of the rooms in the house. Not quite, but we've been in a lot of them. As you bring the hands behind your back, once again, interlace the fingers and slide those fingers down. Open your chest. Keep that front knee bent. Keep the abdominals supporting your back. And then start to hinge, bowing over top of your front leg. Heart alongside your front leg. Sinking into it. Making sure that your hips don't pop way out to the side. We want to have some support while we work on flexibility, and then release it. Bring the hands down. Pivot on the ball with your back foot as you bring that knee down. So from here, you can flatten that foot again. Nice long line here. Feels amazing for the front of the hips. I just love stretching my hips so much. Breathe, and then from here, you can reach the arms to accentuate that stretch even more. So you want to try to get really tall. You do want to feel supported through your front foot, the top of your back foot. Lots going on. That's why it's so important to really tune into your body. As you bring the hands down, you can push those hips back. And again, lifting the toes away from the mat is going to help you to bring the focus all the way to your Achilles tendon. So you really get a good opening through that posterior chain of the body. So again, we can add a little twist while we're here, a little balance challenge. As you plant your left hand down, if you've got your right leg forward, and reach your right arm up to the sky. Nice opening here. Press through that heel. And then bring the hand to the inside of your foot, tuck the back toes under, and let's turn to bring the edges of both feet so that they're parallel to the edges of your mat. So draw the navel in, and from here, flatten your back. So take a breath in, and as you exhale, let yourself fold. Now, you might grab a hold of your ankles as if you're trying to pick them up, bringing the crown of the head to the floor. Or you could maybe grab a hold of your big toes if you got a little bit more range to lift those elbows up, lift the tailbone up, bring the head closer and closer to the floor. Maybe you're even able to get it down to the floor. And then lifting the head up, coming back to your halfway point. So you can use the hands to support you here, and we walk ourselves over to one edge of the mat. From here, you can keep the toes turned in the same direction and holding on to the lowest point that you could reach. Now, this is where you might want to use your blocks, because for people who do have a lot of tightness there, using the blocks and walking yourself over is going to give you, because there's 3 settings on these blocks. You've got very tall, little less, kind of medium here, and then the lowest point. So that can really help you to kind of bridge that gap while you continue to work on your flexibility. And as you reach over to whatever you can grab a hold of, or to keep using your blocks, see if you can draw your belly toward the leg, getting a little bit more into that forward bend. As you release, walk through the middle again. Inhale, keep that navel pulled to the spine, and walk yourself over to the other side. So same thing, take your time. Don't feel that you have to rush. Don't feel that you even have to keep up to me. You just really, it's an individual journey, and I just want to be your guide to help you to explore and to help you to tune into your body and see what works for you and maybe what doesn't work, so that you can recognize what your own limitations are, and you can work with those, because there's always ways of modifying. Everybody's going to be different. Some people are really great at forward bending. Other people are really great at back bending. I have to work a lot harder at my back bends than I do on my forward bends. The forward bends come more natural to me than the back bends do. So it really is so different. And some people, it's the reverse. So recognizing that is going to serve you the very best. So as we come back to the center, I'm just going to bring the knees down to the mat, walking them back in again, and pushing myself back into a classical child's pose, which is a really nice full forward bend. So I bring the forehead, maybe even the top of my head, onto the mat. The arms come alongside. So it's very similar to that fetal position we did earlier. As I curl in, I'm just breathing easy. And from here, I slowly unroll and make my way back up again. So from here, let's stretch the legs out. I'm going to make my way back into that supine position. So we just want to make sure staying nice and visible here. So we're going to start to make our way toward winding things down and coming into more relaxation. So as I mentioned before, being comfortable and well set up as you move into any of these poses is so important. But one of, before we move in total relaxation, we'll come onto our backs. I want to take you into an inversion. Now, this is the easiest of inversions. It's just to bring the legs up. Of course, if your hamstrings are tight, you might look a little bit more like this, which is okay. You're still inverting. You're getting those fluids to move from the extremities and move back to where they will detoxify your body. So you've got your lymph nodes right at the hip creases that are kind of like a detoxifying center. So you're going to want to get fluid, lymphatic fluid to move back there. If you have any leg cramping or varicose veins, you would want to do this as well because the inversion helps those blood vessels that don't function so well to be drained. Now, a good tip is if you have access to a wall, is to put your legs up against the wall. That's going to make sure your back is well supported. And you could always, once again, use your trusty blanket to place underneath the lower back so that it's more comfortable for you to extend the legs up. So that's another option that you can explore. So many different things. And, we only have so much time. There's a lot more to forward bending, but I'll be incorporating it as we go on through the other practices this week while we have the back bending and the twisting. So I'll be sure to give you more tips on forward bending. But this, of course, once again, even though I'm on my back, I am in a forward bent position. Because if I was standing up, we already did this one standing, I was bending halfway down, paused and stopped there, using a lot of muscular strength to keep my back supported. Well, in this one, same position, but I'm not using so much strength because I have the floor supporting my back. And if I had a wall, I would have the wall supporting the backs of my legs too. So it's the best of both worlds is to use the wall. Now from here, we can allow flexing the ankles, and let's see if we can open up those legs we've warmed them up at the beginning of the practice with the inner thigh stretch, with the cross-legged seating that we did. We got warmed up in here, even the standing forward bend with the wide angle. So we just want to check in and see how this is feeling now. You might find that it is much more accessible to you at this point. And then again, bending the knees. And as you keep the soles of your feet parallel to the ceiling, I'm going to come into happy baby. So taking a hold of maybe the feet, maybe my big toes, or I could just hold on to my ankles or even the backs of my knees. This feels really, really good back here in those hamstrings, in the glutes, the attachments, because by having the knees apart and pulling down, I create a really, really nice stretch to the back also. So you notice quite often what I'll see in class is people's backs are up like this. So you want to encourage your back to come down. So even if you have to grab a hold of the legs a little bit further away from the feet so that you can actually focus on what's going on in your back. So here, we do a little rocking side to side, still maintaining somewhat of an inversion by being in this position. And as we bring ourselves back to center, let's bring those legs in. Give yourself a nice hug. You can lift the nose to the knees. Again, this is all that forward bending. And release. Bringing your feet to the floor. We open up the arms. You can let your knees fall to one side. So this is a twist. We're going to be covering those on Friday in much more depth. But the twist is always a good way to bring your practice toward closure because you've bent during your practice, you bend sideways, you bend forward, you bend back. And the twist just helps to rebalance your spine, bring it back into proper alignment. Take yourself back through the middle and allow yourself to tip the knees to the opposite side. So my shoulder is grounded on the opposite side. I can turn my head and look away from my knees while I hold the twist. And it really opens up the glute, opens up the hips, gives that spine. Our nervous system runs through the spine, so there's a lot of messages that are being carried up and down that spine. And it's really our major communication network for our whole body. So it's soothing, it's calming to your whole nervous system when you twist. Now, as you bring the legs nice and long, you can bring your arms to a comfortable place as you close the eyes and allow your body to settle in. So once you come into Shavasana, relaxation, or any kind of meditation, you want to be able to be comfortable. Don't feel like you have to be a statue that can't move. Adjust. We are human. We're fluid in our positioning. So you just want to let yourself experience that so you can find that perfect spot for you. So with the eyes closed, take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, let it come out through the mouth with an audible ha. So let's do 2 more just like that. Breathing in fully. Feel your belly inflating. One more. And as you close the mouth again, keep the eyes closed. Let yourself take a scan of the body and let your breathing now become much more shallow, closer to the surface, with very little effort to the breath. It becomes one that's intuitive once again. And feeling the peacefulness, kind of maybe a little bit of buzzing through the body. I call that the yoga buzz. As you feel the benefits of just stretching your body. Feel your mind more at peace as well. Not so much busyness at this point. Feel more ease as your body sinks into your mat. Enjoy a few moments. I'm not going to keep you here very long, but just enjoy a few moments of stillness. No movement, easy breath, shallow breath, and just being. Really feel yourself be. Listening to the sound of my voice helps to keep you here. So continue to take that body scan from the tip of your toes all the way through the body, right to the tip of your nose, crown of your head, fingertips, whole body, right here, right now. The mind connected to the body, feeling good. And as you bring your practice to conclusion, you can take a big stretch here. Breathe in fully again, just like we did earlier. You can interlace the fingers, press those palms away from you. Breathing out, hug your knees in. Give yourself that little bit of massage. And as you roll all the way onto your side, you can press the floor away to come all the way to seated. So as we bring this time of practice to conclusion, let's just take the palms together and just rub them really briskly. So you're generating lots of heat between the hands, and then place them right over the eyes. Let your head gently tilt back. Just feel that flood of warm energy just envelop your entire body. From here, you can bring hands to the heart and feel good. Set an intention for your day. Know that your day will be wonderful. Even as we come across adversity, we learn lessons. that just enrich us as we continue on our journey of life. So, namaste, my friends. I really appreciate you taking the time to comment and to watch and just to be here on this Monday. And Wednesday will be 4 o'clock. We're going to be working on back bends. And in the meantime, you can watch the replays. If you missed yesterday, you can check that out. And also, Instagram is a busy happening place. So you might want to go check that out as well. So thank you. Namaste, Miriam. Miriam will be here live last Sunday in May. So you'll want to stay tuned for the journey of a yoga student. And everybody else, I wish you all a wonderful day. Thank you so, so much for being here once again. And I look forward to seeing you here on YouTube, as well as maybe you'll pop over onto Instagram. So take care, everyone. Bye now.